News, breaking news, query news, breaking news, fresh, hot off the grill, query news, breaking news, hot off the grill, now, fresh. Hey, supported by viewers like you, yay! Hey, you can PayPal me at https paypal.me at Query News right there. You can see that right there down below there where I'm pointing at. And, all the money goes to us to help our news. We don't get any, we're 100% crowdfunded. We get no money from anybody else. So send us some money. I sure appreciate it. Thank you. We'll be talking today about school shooting 101. And it's kind of a hot topic right now because of all the school shootings and some of the myths behind it. I think is an interesting topic to talk about today. And these are the kids that just got murdered. And our thoughts and prayers go out to them as we talk about this sensitive topic. And so I just wanted to kind of pray for these kids and everything, their parents, and what they're all going through. And just say that before we get into this. Hi, welcome. Right now, what I want to talk about is about our rights being taken away and by some government officials. And I want to show that to you next. I got a great little bit of showing you that right here, a government official admitting to taking our rights away. Here we go.
I absolutely believe that in this country, if you are 18 years of age, you should not be able to buy a rifle, and I will support a law that takes that right away.
Wow, I can't believe that. You just heard it right there. Rubio saying right there he wanted to take your rights away. You know, our Constitution and everything is about, having lots of rights, being able to have many rights. And our Constitution, remember, it talks about, having unlimited rights, being able to have lots of rights that aren't listed in the Constitution. And we have inalienable rights, rights that are not there, and so we have a lot of gifted rights that we have that are not listed in the Constitution. And here Rubio is trying to take rights away, rights that we already have. What happens if I want to take my son hunting at 15 years old? He can't have a gun. And so now I gotta wait until he's 18, 19 years old before I can go hunting with my son, buy him a gun and go hunting or something. Is that crazy? That's just freaking nuts. I can't take my 8-year-old son out hunting somewhere. Take him out of Florida somewhere and go hunting. Can't go alligator hunting in Florida with my 10-year-old son or 18. I have to wait until he's 18 now to buy him a gun, or 19 actually, because he's going to change the law. There's more about this. Keep listening. I got a lot more about Rubio. Just wait. Listen to this.
I absolutely believe that in this country, if you are 18 years of age, you should not be able to buy a rifle, and I will support a law that takes that right away. Fantastic. I will support the banning of bump stocks, and I know that the president has ordered the attorney general to do it, and if he doesn't, we should do it by law.
Hi, everybody. Now we're talking about butt stocks. We're going to ban them. Here's a butt stock. It's just a bunch of plastic pieces that you stick on a gun. Notice there's no trigger there. There's nothing. The two guns, if you take the assault rifle gun and the one that looks like an assault rifle gun, and the one that they have another caliber gun that doesn't look like an assault rifle, but the two guns, guns look the same. And one has wood on it, and one doesn't. One has this buttstock thing already built into the gun when you buy it. So if you buy an AR, go buy an AR gun. It looks like a kind of cool-looking black thing with this plastic pieces on it, like you see here. If you buy a regular hunting rifle type gun, it's made out of wood. And it doesn't have these plastic pieces on it. And so some people go, oh, I want to convert it. So they go in, they buy these plastic pieces and convert it into an AR. That's basically what it is. But but the trigger mechanism on both guns is the same. It doesn't do any different. And so I know there are some guns that need a faster trigger so that you can click it quicker. And it goes as fast as your finger does. So the faster your finger clicks, the faster it shoots. Okay? So the faster you pull the trigger with your finger, the faster it shoots. The faster, if you can click it faster, you can shoot faster. But it's not a fully auto. Almost sounds like it if you do it. You click, fast you can squeeze your finger, the faster you can shoot the gun. So some people are pretty talented and can shoot the guns really fast. So kids can do that, because they do a lot of gaming, stuff like that. So Mario is going to ban a bunch of plastic pieces on guns so they can't convert other guns to look like it. Now there's other AR. Was going to ban AR-15s, AR-14s. I mean, not 15, 14s. So you're going to ban those guns because they already have this built onto the gun. I mean, it's just another attempt to ban something and make people happy, I guess. It doesn't. It's not going to stop anybody from shooting people because there's many other kinds of guns you could get, and go shoot people with. I don't think it makes any difference for me. I'm a shooter, and I can shoot an AR or I can shoot a gun that's a non-AR, a hunting rifle just as good. I can shoot either one of those two guns, easy as peasy for me. I don't need the buttstock on the gun to go shoot it. I can shoot either one of them just as good myself. I think some people just have a preference for the the handle there that you see there to hold on to it. Some people like that handle grip better, and you hold it better and shoot it better, they claim. But I can shoot either one of them just as good, and frankly, I can shoot either one of them just as good. So it doesn't matter to me. But then again, I've shot a lot of guns. I used to shoot lots of guns, so I can do either. So anyway, so we're gonna ban the stupid plastic pieces for no reason, and it's not gonna stop the shootings, sadly. Now, the interesting thing is that Mario, I always call him Mario, but Senator Mario, that's what I like calling him. Reminds me of the game. Anyways, Senator Rubio says that at the end of this, he says something really interesting that's really bad, okay? We hire senators to uphold our laws, uphold the Constitution of the United States, and that's what they're supposed to do. They pledge allegiance to the flag, and they also say that they're going to uphold our Constitution. But they're not supposed to go in there and say, hey, I'm going to make laws to destroy our Constitution and take all your rights away. They're supposed to uphold our rights and live dear to our rights, not take rights away from everybody. But anyway, in the end, he says we're gonna do it by law. Get rid of the buttstocks by law. He said, if the Attorney General doesn't do it, we're going to do it by law. Well, that law would be unconstitutional because we have a right to have guns, and we have a right to have plastic buttstocks. We have a right to have our weapons, whether he likes it or not. That's the Constitution. That's in the Constitution for us.
I will support the banning of bump stocks, and I know that the president has ordered the attorney general to do it, and if he doesn't, we should do it by law. I will support changing our background system so that it includes more information than it includes now.
So here we go again. Senator Mario, or Senator Rubio, saying that he wants to have more information. He didn't say what. I mean, we already have a lot of information already that's on there that we have to fill out when we buy a gun. And frankly, I think we should get rid of that system altogether. You know, I was back in the day when you had to fill out the information to buy a gun. Actually, it was before that. I bought a gun before we had to do that. Then we had to start doing those, fill out information out before we buy a gun. And you just filled it out and they typed it in, and then boom, within a minute or so, you could buy a gun. And that was okay. But you know, there's so many ways bad guys can get guns these days anymore. I mean, the criminals, they get out of jail, hey, break into your house, they steal a gun and they got one. Or they break into a store and steal a gun and they got one. They get a gun right away. It doesn't take long for a bad guy to go get a gun. You know, if they want to get a gun, they can get one pretty quick. Me, I have to go to the store and fill the paperwork, wait 15 days, and then, okay, now I can go get my gun, you know, finally, you know, and then shoot, then get the ammo and, you know, all that. You know, I have to wait 15 days just to get one gun, it seems like. And so I don't know if it's in all states like that, but you know, you got a waiting period. Then if you fill out the form wrong, oh my goodness. So what kind of more information is he talking about? What are you gonna have? Your wife's maiden name and all your kids' names now on there? You're gonna have your psychiatrist's name on there? You're gonna have your doctor's name on there so they can call your doctor. You're gonna have to call the FBI up and then talk to them first before you can buy a gun now. So you can just make it super hard so that the information is so lengthy, like how many years did you live in your house, and oh, if you moved, wait a minute, you moved twice, you can't have a gun. Yeah, you got a P.O. box, you can't have a gun. You live in a trailer, you can't have a gun. You're homeless, you can't have a gun. Definitely, you're homeless, you can't have guns. Homeless people, no guns. You're an undesirable person. You make people upset all the time. You can't have a gun. Let's see. The police came over the house because you got an argument with your wife, so you can't have guns anymore. We pulled you over for speeding. You can't have a gun anymore. And it goes on your record, and that way when you go apply for a gun, sorry, you've been denied having a gun. It's on your record that you had one speeding ticket 20 years ago, and so you can't have a gun. You were speeding. You're a bad guy. You're a really bad guy. And then you feel demeaning. You feel demeaned already when you fill out one of those stupid forms. You feel like you're a criminal already before you even get the gun. You have to fill the whole thing out, and you feel awful filling it out. It's so intrusive to have the government, filling out this freaking form. You're looking around, over your shoulder, and not to mention you have to give that form to the guy behind the counter, who later he can read it, and all whatnot, and say, hey, look at this guy, what he did, or whatever. I don't want all my information. Everybody else reading my information that's behind the counter, and what are they gonna do with it? I don't want everybody knowing my stuff, my information on there, right? And so he's gonna make it tougher for you to fill out the information so you can't get a gun. That's unconstitutional. This is unbelievable.
I will support changing our background system so that it includes more information than it includes now, and that all states across the country are required or incentivized to report all the information into it.
So here we go. Here's Senator Rubio. He wants to be able to have all the states reporting all this information. So all the states have got to hire employees so the feds are going to pay more money out for the states to hire people. And just think about that. You're going to have to hire, how many guns we sell? Millions. So they're going to have to hire, think of all the stores that hire like lots of people to run the guns, to sell them and put them on the shelf, and then, and then package them and all that stuff, and then run the machine to do a background check, and then make sure it goes through, and then after that you do the sell and everything. Then you know, all that kind of nonsense. There's a whole staff for that kind of stuff, and then you're going to have a state employee there verify. You know, remember you got people verifying all this information for the feds, you know, the state. Then you'd have to have people verifying stuff, so that's more employees there. And if you add more information that has to be verified, that means more. The system is going to have more people, you know, behind it to verify the information. Some more state employees to verify everything. And like you said, all the states then would put all this information in, and then you're going to have more federal employees to make sure the state employees are doing their job, and you know, all that. So now you got a bunch of more federal employees, and it's just more bureaucracy. You're expanding the government. And I thought Mario was a Republican, where you have limited government, get government out of your life, let people live their lives, get government off people's backs, and let people just live their life. Let them buy a gun if they want to buy a gun. If they don't want to buy a gun, they won't buy a gun. Stay out of people's lives. And the shooting itself has nothing to do. You know, if guns weren't around, that kid probably would have done something else to kill those kids. Like, he could have used something else, like a bomb, for example. I don't think he's that stupid. I think he's a pretty smart kid. He could probably use the core, maybe. Who knows? Something else he could have used to when someone's set on killing people, they could use other things than a gun. He just chose to use a gun in this scenario, and he killed people. You know, it's horrible, but that's what he used. And then here Mario's trying to push, bigger government, and we're trying to get the government smaller. I was always for, I remember back in the day when I was growing up, I was kind of for, because they were saying, there's felons out there, and, and stuff, that get guns. We want to get the serial number, serialized guns, and then we'll make sure everybody registers their guns and stuff. And there's a lot of people that were mad about registering guns. A lot of people were against that, and I was kind of for it at the time when I was younger. But now that I'm older now, I'm not for registering guns anymore. I think there's so many criminals that get illegal weaponry now that, it's almost pointless. There's so many stolen guns out there, it's unbelievable. So, there's tons of stolen weapons out there. So it's like, well, what's the point then? They file them off. And then not only that, if you really want to, you could make your own gun at home. You can make your own gun. There's people that know how to do smithing, and they can make their own AR-25, AR-15, whatever, AR-14 right in their house, and they can make it, literally, and it can shoot just like every bit as good as one you buy in a store, with no serial number on it, if they want to, or a shotgun. They can make a shotgun. They're not that hard to make. A lot of people I did some studies on it. I was curious myself how hard it is to make a shotgun or something like that. So easy. It's so easy, it's easy. You can make a shotgun. It's easy. It's not even hard at all. And so if you have the right equipment, you can make one of those. You don't need to have super expensive equipment to do a shotgun. AR gun, you need some milling equipment. There's some other people that have tried with some cheaper stuff and have made something quite close to it. And so, but they say you can do it if you have the right tools and the right knowledge. You can make those guns at home. Okay, that's what they claim. So, and I've seen some pretty good stuff on it. And I found out the kid had $800,000 coming to him, I guess when his mom died or something, left him some money. So he had $800,000. He could do what he wanted, buy any kind of gun he wanted, So the kid that did the murdering, he's, I guess I don't know if he could touch the money now or not, or what, but they had $800,000. The kid had money. I mean, could do anything he wanted. Unbelievable. I think his brother, I think he had a brother too there that was, I heard he had a brother, so maybe that's wrong, I don't know. But anyway, he had $800,000 anyway that was coming to him. So he had money as well. Unbelievable. So what I'm saying is basically, we need to have less gun laws. We've gone so far now the other direction that it's harder and harder and harder to buy guns now. They've closed up in Sacramento, California. When I lived there, they closed down so many gun stores. It was incredible. They, came in and looked at their books, and if there was even one little period missing on something, receipts weren't right, something, you didn't keep records right, clear, bam, they nailed you. And they shut the store down. And they closed store after store. I mean, it was unbelievable. And so a lot of places closed down. And mom and pop shops closed down one after another. They really went after people. It was terrible. It was really horrible. And I watched them do it. I seen the cops do it. I was there. I watched it happen. And I knew some of the owners of the stores, not, real well, but I mean, I knew who they were and, went into their shops and stuff. And then I watched them close down, and they told me, so the cops were trying to close down. And I bumped into the cops that were closing them down. I said, yep, we're going to close them down. We're closing them all down, and I'd be like, oh, no kidding. And it was crazy. And so that's what they're trying to do. And I think that's they think that's the way to do it is to do that. They'll just steal guns from somewhere else. They'll go to another state and steal guns and bring them to California, and then they'll sell them for a lot of money because there's no guns in California, right? So they'll go to Mexico and bring them in. You're not going to stop people from buying guns. They'll just buy illegal ones if that's what they have to do. That's what they'll end up doing. You can outlaw guns completely tomorrow morning, and then everybody will buy guns or make them or something. They're gonna get the weapons. Americans are not gonna tolerate not having weapons. But and even more importantly, the Constitution of the United States says that we have a right to have bear arms, and they put it in writing in the Constitution. And here's Mario violating the Constitution of the United States, and he's a United States Senator. He should be thrown out of office. Thrown out of office. He doesn't deserve to be president. He doesn't deserve to ever be in office again in the United States of America.
And that all states across the country are required or incentivized to report all the information into it. And let me tell you what I've done already. Last year, when we came up with our budget in the Senate, I pushed for and got approved $50 million a year through the Sandy Hook Initiative to provide a threat assessment fund for all states to be able to stand up in each of the school districts a way to identify people who could potentially do this and get ahead of it before it happens. I support moving forward on that initiative and making it widely available for everyone around the country. Now, I think what you're asking about...
Yeah, okay, so now we're talking about catching things before they happen. Folks, we're talking about teenagers. They're not even adults yet. We're talking about your children. And they have rights. Kids have rights, okay? And they're minors. And the parents are over the minors. You're talking about all kinds of rights. Here. And so their parents are in charge of their kids. And so you go storming around the school trying to be detective to catch, I guess, a kid that might go AWOL and shoot everybody. Kids could use that against other kids, like, hey, I think Peter wants to kill us all, and he reports it, and then Peter house gets raided by the co-ops, and they don't find any guns, but they're SWAT team's there and everything, and Pete said, hey, I never said anything to anybody about harming anybody. Now, and suddenly the word gets out in the school, his house was raided, Now everybody looks at him differently at school. His life at school's destroyed. Seriously. It could have some serious ramifications. He sues the school, finds out that the person that said this stuff to the corpse, they finally find out who it was, and it was a person that doesn't like him, and finally that person says, yeah, I didn't like him, and he's looked at me wrong, and I think he looked like he wanted to kill us. And so it's just made up crap, and then this kid's life now has been marred by somebody. There you go. That's what you're starting. That's like Russia. Everybody tattling on everybody. This is what Mario. Stop. I was talking to my cat. So this is what Mario is trying to do. Just like they do in Russia. Everybody is tattling on everybody. So everybody tattles on everybody. And your neighbor tattles on you. Your kids tattle on everybody. Tattles on everybody for anything. So that's what goes on there. So it's just like Russia. I mean, your neighbor goes, hey, I think that guy's a bad guy. So then the cops go over there, kick in the door, beat up on that guy there at the door. and then the guy, nothing really, the guy wasn't bad, and then that guy gets mad and, calls him on the same neighbor that called on him about something else, and then they go beat that neighbor up. Everybody just tattles on everybody. That is not freedom. That is not part of being a part of the United States. The United States is supposed to be a free, loving, caring country. We're not supposed to be sticking our fingers at everybody and making up stuff about each other and all this kind of stuff like Russia does. And then, or shut your mouth and hide, too. There's a lot of people in Russia that's afraid to say anything to anybody. That's the other side of Russia, because if the government comes out and does something, you don't say nothing because you'd be next. And so you're afraid of the government. So that could also cause that to happen. So Mario has a bunch of cops running around checking everybody's house, and and pretty soon everybody's afraid of the government, because they're afraid the government's going to kick in their door because some little kid at school said, this other kid, I think, said he was going to kill us or something, or he drew a gun on his book, or he did something, and next thing you know, your door's kicked in with a SWAT team. And next thing you know, the SWAT team kicks in your door, and everything goes crazy. So you got to kind of think about these kinds of things. This is crazy. This is nuts. The United States isn't supposed to be run that way. Sure, if you see a kid that, says, hey, I'm going to kill everybody in school, and I got my guns, you're over at his house, and he had a map of how he's going to kill everybody in school, you go tell the authorities about it, okay, that's something credible. But, drawing something on a book or something, there's credible information, credible something, credible, and something where you see him making pipe bombs at home, oh, I better tell somebody, that's one thing. Then being all scared and everybody's suspicious of everybody and, that kind of thing, that's Russia. That's not the United States. That's not here. Mario is trying to make our country like Cuba. And we're not Cuba. We don't rat everybody else out. We kind of mind our own business. And, unless we see something credible, then we tell, authorities about it.
But we just don't go around pointing fingers at people just to point fingers. You know, we kind of keep to ourselves, love each other, try to be nice to each other. That's what we're trying to do. And if you look at this teacher guy or whatever, this parent, look at how weird he looks. He's all giddy, all smiley and weird.
About is the assault weapons ban. Yes, sir. So let me be honest with you about that one. If I believed that that law would have prevented this from happening, I would support it. About is the assault weapons ban. Yes, sir. So let me be honest with you about that one. If I believed that that law would have prevented this from happening, I would support it.
Oh my goodness. Assault weapons ban. You know, these guns are really not assault weapons, but we call them that. But really, military weapons are assault weapons. These are just weapons, guns. Assault weapons are military weapons, and they are way different than these things. These guns look cool, you know. They kind of look like a SWAT gun maybe, but the guns that are assault weapons are really military weapons, and these are not military weapons. Make that clear. Make sure you tell everybody these are not military weapons. I don't shoot like a military weapon. They use the same bullets. They're not military weapons. Military weapons would tear the hell out of a place. Big old holes through everything. And if you don't believe me, go look at Syria. Look at all the holes in Syria, man. Military weapons just tear everything all to hell. Yeah. These guns, firecrackers compared to that stuff. So anyway, so they're really not assault rifles. They're guns. That's all they are. And we have a right to own our own guns. It's in the Constitution of the United States, which this guy said he would uphold. This congressman said he'd uphold our Constitution, and he lied. He's a liar. I've always thought he was a liar anyway when he ran for office. He's a liar. He's really probably a communist. I think. He's not even a Democrat. He's a communist. Probably doesn't think of himself as a communist. But he is. He's so now he is talking about an assault rifle ban. Oh, unbelievable. So he wants to ban guns. And that's pretty bad, because remember, in the Constitution it says that we have a right to bear arms, and even George Washington said we have the right to bear arms. And that is our right. And it says it shouldn't be taken away from us. Ever. And then here he is trying to figure ways to stop us from owning our own weapons, our own guns, by labeling them as an assault weapon. They sound bad. So we'll label them something so they sound bad so we can take them from you. No. The Constitution says we deserve to have right to bear arms. Period. Mr. Rubio. And you do not get to take them away. You have no right to do that.
About is the assault weapons ban. Yes, sir. So let me be honest with you about that one. If I believed that that law would have prevented this from happening, I would support it. Law that they call the assault weapons ban. And if you'll give me and indulge me for a minute to explain to you the problem. First, you have to define what it is. If you look at the law and its definition, it basically bans 200 models of gun in this country, about 220 specific models of gun. Good.
And then, so here we go again. Now there's 220 weapons that are banned. Actually, he's actually been able to ban some guns. Actually taking weapons away from Americans that have the right to bear and hold arms. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. That is absolutely wrong. Mr. Senator Rubio does not have the right to take those weapons away from the American public. He doesn't have the right to. It's against the Constitution. It says we have the right to bear arms and we have the right to have weapons. I know that they will argue that they have the right to regulate weaponry. But if they regulate weaponry to so much to where you can't even own one, that's banning. That's infringing on the Constitution. And the Constitution does not say, oh, hey, you can make a bunch of laws so you can't have them. It doesn't say that. It says will not be abridged. It will not be. I can't even think of the word right now. I'll think of it in a minute. But it is not. The reason why we wanted to have arms is because the British had the guns and we had none, and they wanted to ban our weaponry. And then they could do anything to us they wanted. They could kick in our doors. They could do whatever they wanted if they had all the guns and we had none. And everybody threw a fit about that. And that was one of the prime things that George Washington and the United States fought for. That's one of the reasons we fought our Revolutionary War, was to bear arms. And so now we've let them, it's kind of started with the serial numbers. Then it goes down to, then you had to fill out your name and address and stuff. Then you have to fill out, other information on that thing. Then they got to do a background check on you. Now they're gonna even do more of a background check on you. I guess, according to Rubio, he's gonna add more information. I don't know what, but more information. Maybe have you go see a psychiatrist before you can buy a gun now. And then now kids 8 years old used to be they could have a gun. Now you can't have a gun until you're, he's gonna change it until you're 19. So you can't own a gun until you're 19. I don't know what the difference is by 1 year, but I guess that makes a difference to him. And just slowly but for surely, they have led us down the path by our nose hairs, one step at a time, down the path. And slowly, drip, 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 they are taking our rights away. And that is what they're doing. And that is wrong. And that's their intention, and that's what they're heading to. And we must now stand up and say, enough is enough. We're not going to do this anymore. No more laws on the guns. We have enough on the books. In fact, we should roll back some of the laws. We're not going to do the background checks any more than they already are. We're going to roll back some of these rules and laws, and we're not going to ban butt stocks. We're not going to do some of these things that you're saying. In fact, we're going to roll back some of the other laws. You can go in now with your address and your phone number and stuff, fill it out, and they'll do a background check real quick on you, and bam, you got a gun. Maybe we'll even roll back the 15-day waiting period. Get government out of the business of knowing how many guns I have at home. Maybe even that. It's time to go back to, if I want a freaking gun, I should be able to go in the store and buy one and take it home if I want one. It shouldn't be the government's business to know whether I want to buy a gun or if I have a gun or whatever. It's none of their business anyway, because I have the right to bear arms. It's in the Constitution.
Okay, but it allows legal 2,000 other types of gun that are identical in the way that they function, in how fast they fire, in the type of caliber that they fire, in the way they perform. They are indistinguishable from the ones that become illegal. And the only thing that separates the two types is if you put a plastic handle grip on one, it becomes banned, If it doesn't have a plastic handle grip, it does not become banned. So let me explain, if I may, just for a moment more.
Are you saying you will start with the 200 and work your way up?
I would explain to you what has happened.
It's a place to start. We can do that.
Well, but let me explain to you what's happened. So in New York, they have passed that ban. And you know what they've done to get right around it? It took them 15 seconds to do it. They simply take the plastic tip off of it. They just take the plastic grip off the front or the back,
so we don't
the same gun, and it becomes legal. Performs the exact same way. So what my belief remains, that rather than continue to try to chase every loophole that's created, it's why it failed in '94, it's why they're getting around it now in California, it's how they get around it in New York, is we instead should make sure that dangerous criminals, people that are deranged, cannot buy any gun of any kind. That's what I believe a better answer will be.
Okay. Your answer speaks for itself.
Thank you, Mr. Guy.
So here we go. Here we are now. Where he didn't tell you everything in his speech here. I'm going to tell you what he's meant. So he said, instead of, how they got around taking the part off and then the gun became legal, he said, instead of fighting over all these little things, we're going to do something different where we make sure that any crazy people and don't get guns at all. But I think, he said, I think that's a better way. So who's going to determine that? How do we get to know? I mean, people knew this kid, who he was. So what, are they going to call the cops and say, hey, this kid's crazy? And then the cops are going to go, okay, let's go to your house, take your guns away. That's going to be a lawsuit right there. Kids could say, I'm not crazy, I'm fine. So what? I have a gun. I have a right to have a gun. I have no criminal record. I didn't do anything wrong. So what if that kid called me crazy? I mean, there's crazy people that have guns. Crazy people, deserve to defend themselves. They could be weird in the head and everything and have a gun to defend themselves. They have a right to bear arms. Just being retarded. I mean, funny enough, I was reading this part, George Washington, there was some people in the military that were retarded. Not completely retarded, but he said retarded, but they weren't, normal people, they fought in the military. There was a lot of people that fought in our military back then that weren't all together in the head. And they gave him a gun and they fought in the Revolutionary War. And he took anybody. He took everybody he could. He needed desperate for troops, so he took anybody that could shoot a gun. Okay, so there you go. I mean, so do we say, okay, you're mentally sick, you can't have a gun. That's so the government's going to determine now who can have a gun and who can't have a gun. That's what he's saying. So big government is now going to tell who can have a gun, who can't have a gun, when can you have a gun. That's what he's telling you. That's communism. That is communism, and that is wrong. That is evil. And that's against the Constitution of the United States. That is against all the principles that we stand for as a nation. And here is Mario or Cupid, whatever his name is. Oh my goodness! Here's Rubio, Senator Rubio, advocating the government is going to decide who gets a gun and who doesn't. That's not right. I mean, I can understand that maybe there's a few people that, do something with a gun. Now let's say somebody had a gun and they're walking down the street and they shoot somebody or some weird thing, and, yeah, sure. Or they did something wrong with the gun, I don't know. something, the police arrest them, sure, then they get the gun taken away. Or they attack their mom or something, and in a domestic dispute, they took the guns away, and they are on meds, okay, that's fine. Something like that, in those scenarios, that might be fine. But I think they already do that. So, I don't know what he's talking about. What I think he's talking about is government's going to determine who gets guns, who don't, and that could get expanded. And so that could expand into everybody. So if you yell at your wife, and your wife calls the cops, they come over, and boom, all your guns are gone. You get a divorce, and the wife wants to be nasty, boom, all your guns are gone. Forever. You lose all your gun rights. And all your guns are gone. The police confiscate them and sell them, and you're done. Can't ever have a gun again. The rest of your whole entire life. You didn't pay a parking ticket, one day, and you were late paying it or something, and boom, all your guns are gone. You get a speeding ticket, boom, your guns are gone. You were late to work, and your guns are gone. I'm serious. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Jaywalking ticket, boom, your guns are gone. Anything you do wrong, then the government then could tarp down on you, swoop down on you with the A-team, SWAT team, kick in your door, take your guns away for anything. Maybe who knows? Maybe if your mortgage is late, they can take your guns away. Who knows? That's crazy. That's communism, folks. Pure, adulterated communism. And that whole center of people there, including that guy that the daughter got shot in the back, he's a communist. And most of those people are all rooting for communism. Okay? And that's one vote, one person, not representative government, and all those people are rooting for it. And that is a small portion of the population. That's not the whole population of Florida by any means. It's a small, not even probably even 1% of the population of Florida. So that's just a very small part of Florida that's thrown a fit there. And they trump everybody. They're the minority, and they trump the majority. And so now we're making laws for the minority, for the majority of everybody in the United States. That's ridiculous. That's ludicrous. Unbelievable. Never thought I'd see something like this in my life. Here, that the United States would turn into a communist country. That they would steal our guns. Looks like that's what they're trying to do. Unbelievable. Got more for you. Don't give up. Well, I got a couple more little things to show you. Hold on here.
I understand you're standing up for the NRA, and I understand that's what you're supposed to do. But you just told this group of people that you are standing up for them. You're not standing up for them until you say, I want less working.
So there we go, folks. Here's the sheriff. A duly sworn-in sheriff who is sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, pledge allegiance to the flag, who is standing there saying that we need to get rid of guns. We don't need more guns. We want to get rid of guns. And who's sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And if you notice, now this is going to be racist. Oh, here I go. If you notice, the Rubio has a strong Cuban lineage. Even though he's raised here and everything. I think he was born and raised here in America. But he has a very strong, Cuban identity, if you will, from that place. Okay? So, I don't think he's lost his Cuban ancestry. Feeling, I guess. lineage. I don't know. So they bring those ideas with them from Cuba, which is communism, dictatorship, okay, Marxism. The co-op, if you notice, he's from another country too as well. You know, probably Mexico, South America. Same thing. Seems like a nice guy, but things are, not doing too good. And his idea is no guns, less guns, whatever. And so, where those ideas come from, probably from his country, Mexico, that place has tons of shootings all the time. So, I don't know. So, these people bring these ideas from other countries that are, dictatorships or communism or other kinds of form of government that doesn't work. And then they try to bring it into the United States and then try to tell us that's how we should live. And, of course, that's not how we should live. We should be living like the Constitution tells us to live. But I can't believe a swearing officer to uphold the Constitution of the United States would say what he just said on the stage. You should take that badge away, kick him out of office, in my opinion, and find a co-op that's willing to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. So anyways, I got here a little thing for you. It's Trump, an interview with Trump a little while ago while Obama was still president, about the mental health, about guns, violence in the schools, and about what's really going on in America, and so his ideas of what he thinks is really going on. And listen to the reporter while you're listening to the reporter about him fighting and clawing and fighting for, we should do this, we should do this, we should do this, we should do that, and really none of that stuff works according to Trump. So while you listen to this interview coming up, and I'll comment throughout the interview about some of those things, and Trump might be right. He might be right on some of those things. I think he's wrong on some of it. So at the end, I'll have some comments as to why I think he's wrong. And but he's probably right in the sense that some of these kids are geniuses. Some of these psychos that get the guns are super, super smart people, and they can circumvent a lot of security and get away with murder, Okay, so you get this idea for the media, as you just heard Trump and the reporter say that it happens more in the United States than anywhere else. And from what I understand, that's not true at all. There's more school shootings and more deaths in schools and mass shootings outside the United States than anywhere else in the world outside the United States. So, and the reason why you don't know about it is because the reporter, saying news, all these kind of guys don't report on these kind of mass shootings. So here's one in France. Terrorists claiming allegiance to the Islamic State carried out several coordinated attacks in the city. Shootings of pedestrians on the street in a mass shooting. Barcelona Theater, 130 people killed. Okay, here's France, 2015. The Islamic government office of Hero killed the magazine, killed 12 people, including the paper's top editors, cartoonist, Anger. So they killed there. Here, another militant killed 70 people, wounding 175. It was a siege with the government. Just a minute, we'll be getting to the school shootings, don't worry. We're just showing you some, there's a lot more going on there. Gunman distinguished as a policeman opened fire on a youth camp for political activists in a small town. Okay, and the gunman had linked to a Islamic group, 68 campers. Okay, killed 68 people. Okay, and then and there's more to that on that one. Here's another one. 23-year-old student returned his public school and killed 12 children, seriously more than a dozen others. Okay, that's a school, and this one here is in Georgia City. Okay, killed 12 students, staff, and staff at that school. Okay, and that's over there in Georgia, not Georgia in the United States. Germany, 17-year-old shot and killed 15 people at his school. Okay, so there's that one. That's 2008 here. Here, the city is shooting bombings, attacks across the city. Spent several days, including mass shootings in 2 hotels. Okay, 164 people dead. How's that for fun? Oh, wow. And a further 208 wounded. Judson Milton's Theater took 280 people hostage, and at least 170 people dead. Oh, that's nice. That was in Moscow, Russia, 2002. And there's more than all these. These are just some of them. There's lots more. A 19-year-old student opened fire at a secondary school, killing 16 people, including 13 teachers, 2 students, and 1 policeman for killing himself. 28-year-old opened fire at a cafe, historic site. 35 people, wounding 23. Worst mass murder in history. Scotland killed 16 children and 1 teacher. Okay, there it is. Scotland. Yeah, that's a big one. 25-year-old gunman shot 28 people and killing 14 women for committing a suicide. Okay, that's Canada. That's Canada, right over here. Anyway, okay. Okay, so that's about all of the ones there. Some of those were 1980s, of course. That's a long time ago. I understand that. But there's a lot other ones. I know of some other school shootings. So there's some other school shootings out there and mass killings that have gone on in schools that are not here. So I just want to warn you about that. And so when they're talking about it, are there more in the United States than anywhere else? I don't think that's true. There are a lot more shootings outside the United States, different kind of mass shootings and stuff, and a bunch in schools too out there worldwide. And I think there's more so worldwide than there are in the United States. And for some reason, the media passes on this idea that it's only happening in the United States only, when I think that's fraud. I think that's a lie. There we go, folks. Again, trying to, if you notice, he mentioned make it more difficult to get or a gun license in order to have a gun. So basically, what they're trying to do is circumvent the Constitution by making lots of laws on the type of guns you can have, making lots of laws so it's almost impossible to get a background check cleared, and make it super hard to get a permit, a concealed permit or whatever, to have a weapon. So that it makes it expensive. So that way it makes it so that you can't get a gun, or most people can't. And so that's to me, that is also a new way of making it so people can't have guns, bear arms, in a way, another attack on the on our constitutional rights. This is not right. This is pure evil, and it's not right. These people, like this reporter here, is a pure communist. He's a communist. He doesn't want anybody to have guns, and they're trying to come up with ways to figure on how to stop everybody, law-abiding citizens, to have a gun. Trump has a gun. He has a concealed permit. But they're trying to figure a way to stop people from having more guns at all. They think more guns is causing the more violence. Well, I think it's the people who have the guns that are causing more violence, not more guns. So here we go. Security guard overheard alleged mass shooting plot credited with saving school in California, high school. So it goes like this. The security guard overheard this kid say he's going to come back and kill 17 people or do a mass shooting or something, and in a couple weeks or something. Oh, kid was 17. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, no, leaves. Anyway, he was gonna. This is just after the 17 kids got killed from this other mass shooting recently. That's what it was. I'm sorry, I got all mixed up there for a minute. Anyway, so he overheard this kid say he was going to come back in a couple weeks, in 2 or 3 weeks, and kill another mass shooting in his school there in California. And so he eventually reported it, and it went to the police. The police got involved. And the reason why he threatened to do this is he got expelled from one of the classes because he got mad because the teacher made him take his earplugs out. By the way, his student's a straight A student or has good grades and everything. Anyway, so he got mad because the teacher made him take his earphones out of his ear in class. Wow. That's enough to go massacre a bunch of kids for. Jeez. Anyway, so he got kicked out of the class because I guess something happened because of the earphone thing, and so he had to go to the principal's office the next day instead of going to class because of this incident. Anyway, and then he threatened to come back and do a mass shooting in the school. Sheriff was involved. The sheriff decided to do a search warrant in the house and ended up finding a bunch of machine guns that belonged to his brother. And his brother has the assault rifle type. We call what they call assault rifles. I don't know. Maybe we could argue in the future about guns a little bit. But guns are our constitutional right, and anything to try to suppress our constitutional rights is wrong. We should be more liberal on, not less liberal on things, and quit making laws that take away our rights. Every time I turn around, our rights seem to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and more laws from you name it. Just about every time I turn around, I hear a new law. You can't grow tomato plants, or you can't have vegetables growing in your backyard, or you can't water your lawn on certain days. You can't burn wood, for example. It just seems like more and more and more our constitutional rights of what we could do yesterday are taken away, and our freedoms continue to be eroded. And this is wrong. And we are not the communist country. We are the United States, a free country, and we must remain free. So they go in there, they raid the house. They find all these. They found one gun unregistered, and the other guns, I guess, were fine. And then they had lots of bullets. Check this out. Here's a picture of it here in a minute. Anyway, here's the guns right here that they found in the house. So after they found all this weapons, look at the magazines he's got. Holy cow. I mean, but it's not his gun, it's his brother's gun. See, that's the thing I was making to notice that, Trump was saying. So these sickos, these crazy kids, they're mentally sick, can get guns some other form, some other way. His brother probably wasn't going to come and shoot up the school. I don't know, but I'm just saying, so the kid, steals his brother's guns, he sneaks them out of the house one day, sneaks into the school with all that stuff somehow. I don't know how he'd do it, but figure a way to get it into the school, and then has a mass shooting with his brother's weaponry, which is, if the one gun would have been registered, all of it would have been legal, technically. So the younger brother steals the older brother's stuff, comes to school, and bam. And like other states, they make you lock all that stuff up in a gun case. If it's not in a gun case, you can go to jail for that. So, maybe they need to have a gun law, to have it up in a gun case or something. Walkout at one of the schools. You can see all the students, they decided to walk out one of the schools. I think this might be the Florida school, I'm not sure, but it's another school in Florida where all the kids decided to protest about the shootings, and then they decided to skip school, I guess, to go outside and protest the shooting because they want the guns taken away from the adults. When it was a kid, they got the gun, not the adults. They want to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. They want to change the Constitution of the United States. And a lot of these kids, if you think about it, They just don't understand the Constitution of the United States. And I think they've been brainwashed into thinking that it's a good thing.
Are we ready? You did so organized. Okay. Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Awesome. Some of you that have been to rallies before probably know this one. The way it goes is I will say, show me what democracy looks like, and you will say, this is what democracy looks like. Okay, are we ready? Are you ready? Yeah! Oh, come on, are you ready? Yeah! We'll put this in the plan. Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! Show me what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
So I don't think the truth is they want gun laws. I think the truth is they want something else. They want to change the Constitution and become more of a communist type country where one vote for every person, everybody votes on everything, communal, everybody owns everything, you know, like Russia, you know, all the corporations don't get to keep their money. They get, you know, all the money is everybody's money. And for the good, so a corporation makes a lot of money, and it's shared with everybody, so that everybody is kind of the same in society, and it never works that way. Societies don't, you know, the best society is the one we have, but that's not what they want to do. They want to go back to this communist-like idea, which never works. Well, if you want to do something good, you can donate more money to my cause, and I'll make better videos. And I can hire staff. I can buy a better computer. I can buy better camera equipment, and I can make better videos. And I can also pay to spread my videos on the internet more, to social media. I have to pay the money to send these videos out to lots of people. So more people can view them. You can share with your friends on my videos, see what they think, and talk amongst your friends about how our rights being eroded. I don't think this is really about the gun violence. I don't think the Democrats really give a shit about people being killed or not killed by the guns. I think it's just a way to gain political favor over emotional people, and so that they can get to their genuine communism for the United States, and that's their end goal. Anyway, like, share, donate. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Do his job and answer questions from his constituents.
I want to say two things about Marco Rubio tonight. One, I am thankful, honestly, that he dared to show up. I was at the Capitol earlier today, and a lot of representatives from his party did not give me the time of day. Second of all, I am actually very excited about what is to come, because Marco Rubio talked about change. It is the first time I personally have ever heard him talk about changing the age from 18 to 21. From, even talking about the assault weapons ban. That is fantastic. People need to remember that this is going to happen in small steps if it is going to happen at all. And if we want the momentum to keep going, We need to keep going with the small steps. And I am, again, very thankful for Marco Rubio, and hopefully I'll be able to talk to him again soon.
As you can see here, that this kid here, I call him the little communist kid of the United States, brainwashed by his parents. And like he said, in baby steps, he wants to go out there and slowly chip away at our freedoms and our rights, one little bit at a time. So, so they get an assault weapons ban. They talk about it. They get the bump stocks ban, and then they'll get the trigger or something banned, and then go from 18 to 21. I thought it was just from 18 to 19, but I guess it's from 18 to 21. And then, then they'll make it harder for anybody to even get a gun by adding more stuff to the application, and then they'll start scrutinizing people who want to buy a gun, if you're mentally fit to even own one. So the government will get involved in who can have a gun, who can't have a gun, and it'll cause a huge bureaucracy to even buy a gun. Pretty soon, gun shops will close down because they can't sell the guns because they can't get anybody qualified to even buy one. And then pretty soon, nobody has a gun, and they've achieved a ban on guns and violated our rights to own guns. They've ruined the Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. And this little kid here is doing that. He's trying to get the United States to destroy our freedoms and our rights in the United States. It's pretty sick. And this kid's just a little communist little brat going out there being brainwashed. He thinks he's doing the right thing. It's not going to stop any of the shootings because there's tons of guns already out there that people own and have that they could trade between each other right now. And like we just talked about earlier, this other kid that was in school, his brother owned the guns. So a 21-year-old brother has the guns, or his dad has the guns, or his neighbor has the guns, or a friend, or a gangster. He buys it off the street from a gangster who ships the guns in from Mexico. That'll start a whole new thing. So he buys the guns that are illegal. People start stealing guns because we can't have guns legally. So now people go steal guns and have the gun. So what's going to stop a kid from doing that? Walk up to some gang guy and give him. This kid had $800,000. So he could have, if guns were banned, he couldn't get one. He could have went onto the street and said, "Hey, homie, I got $1,000. Get me an AR, or get me a Russian-made, AK-47. Here's $1,000. Here's $2,000. He had $800,000. He could have done that. Had all the bullets he wanted and everything, and they would have got him the gun in a heartbeat. And the shooting still would have happened. In fact, it would have been worse because now he had an AR. He wouldn't have had an AR gun. He would have had an actual real machine gun, an AK-47. Like Russia uses with real military grade bullets that goes right through the walls, even more so. And he could have just went in there and pop right through the walls and shoot. It would have been even a bigger massacre. So you're booking up you're taking away our rights to own guns and continue to destroy the Constitution of this United States of America and destroy what George Washington put in the Constitution, saying you cannot destroy the rights of owning guns. And this kid right here shows he's been brainwashed to say this stuff, thinking it's the right thing to do, when it's the wrong thing to do. He's a pure communist. His family is probably liberals. All our schools have been taken over by liberals. All our universities are taken over by liberals. I'm not saying the teachers, I'm just saying, generally speaking, liberals have taken over the schools, taken over the curriculum, and they're run overall by liberals. And And our government, politicking, is now taken over by liberals. And soon, our Constitution will be no more if it hasn't already. Share the video, donate, so we can make better videos, and we can warn people about our constitutional rights and how to fight back. Share, comment, let others know, because someday the liberals will go after liberals. So the liberals think that they're going to get rid of all us Republicans and all us conservatives and all us real, I'm a classical Republican. They're going to get rid of us all, but then they're going to go after the other liberals. Liberal fighting liberals. Communists fighting communists. And it won't stop after they get rid of us. As soon as they get rid of guns, they'll go after something else. Say, hey, you said something to somebody, hearsay, and they'll throw them in jail. It isn't going to stop with guns. It'll be something else they'll go after you for. Maybe the way you looked at somebody, or you're staring at somebody, or somebody thought they heard you say something bad. You said something bad about the government, they'll throw you in jail. That'll be next. Liberal against liberal. It's already sort of happening already. Thanks for listening.
marshal the spot.